Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, and it's time for it's normally time for a 5x5. I'm giving the 5x5 1 week off. It's going to be back next week. It's one of our favorite, one of our most popular videos. It will be back. But at the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video all about what it's like working at Penguin Magic. A lot of people contact me on this channel and they're like, hey, I'm a creator. I'm going to be creating magic. Which company should I work with? And I'm in kind of a unique situation in that I've worked with a lot of companies, or I've had experience working with a lot of companies. I've done a lot of work with Alakazam back in the old days. I did a lot of work with World Magic Shop. I do a lot of work with Penguin Magic, a lot of work with Murphy's Magic. Although I've never released a product with Vanishing Ink, I have done a masterclass with them and lectured at the session. So I know what it's like working for Vanishing Ink. I'm currently working with TCC. I'm currently working on a project with Chris James for Joel Miranda. I'm working on something with the guys from Green Lemon. I'm currently working with Matthew Wright at Marvelous Effects. So I've worked or am working with a lot of different companies. In fact, probably the only major company, the only two major companies I've never really worked with are Saturn Magic and Illusionist. Those are probably the only ones. I've worked in one capacity or another with every other company, and that's one of the questions that comes up every single week. I'm a creator. I'm going to start creating magic. Which company should I work with? Which company is the best company to work with? Not just from a financial point of view, but just from an experiential point of view. And because there's a lot of factors that you need to take into consideration when you start working with a company. Let's say you've created the perfect product and every single company wants to work with you. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. Obviously, remuneration is one of the things to take into consideration. How much you're going to get paid for the product. How they're going to pay you, when they're going to pay you, what are they going to pay you, how can you keep track of that, how organised they are, what the infrastructure is like. So all the pay things are really important. But the other thing that's really important is, what is it like working with them? Are they nice people? The other thing to factor in is, what's the lines of communication like? When you're an artist working with said company, what are the lines of communication like? In terms of, are they going to keep you abreast of the product? Are they going to let you know what's happening at various different points? What's it like when you're actually filming the product? Some companies don't want you to actually be on there. They'll buy the product off you, but they don't really want you to be on the product. Really, they want you to just give them the idea. How are they going to raise your profile? How are they going to help with your branding within this community? But there's so many different things to take into consideration. So what I thought I'd start to do is, kind of almost like a bit of a mini deep dive on each one of these companies. And it just made sense to do it on Penguin first. And the reason is, I've just come back from working with Penguin Magic. I've been working with Penguin right from when I first came back to the Magic community. In fact, although the first trick I bought out when I came back to the Magic community was Gossip with Alakazam, the reason I came back to this community was because of Penguin. I had no intention of coming back to this community at all. No intention whatsoever of coming back. I left, when the whole red thing happened and the stuff between me and Jeff McBride and Wayne Dobson, when all that happened, I left the community. I vowed never to come back, and I just focused on building my own business up. And I left in a situation where I was kind of broke and I didn't have many gigs, and I got myself into a really nice position from a company point of view. From a financial point of view, I got myself into a really good position. And I had no intention of coming back to this industry, no intention of coming back to this community. And a kind of a perfect storm hit. A few things happened. So the first thing that happened is Ryland got really, really interested in magic. He's always been interested in it. He's always had an interest from a young age. I remember at 3, he was doing the nursery graduation. He was doing his own magic show for nursery graduation and making balloons at the age of 3 or 4. I can't remember. But he kind of really got into it just before COVID. And then at the same time, COVID hit, and I was at home with my kids, and a lot of the extracurricular stuff that Ryland was doing, like drum lessons and stuff, that fell by the wayside. We couldn't leave the house. We were in the house all the time. So I was teaching Ryland more magic because there was very little else to do. At the same time, I couldn't go and gig. We had massively less work to do because there were massively less bookings coming in. Even though we were doing a lot of stuff with virtual shows, I still had a lot more time on my hands. And all of this stuff was happening at around about the same time. And then Penguin Magic reached out to me. And this is before I started working with Alakazam. Penguin Magic reached out to me. And they said, hey, we'd love to speak to you about working with you. Pitch us some products. And I went back to them and I spoke to them about a few different products. And one of the ones that they were very, very interested in was Chop. And they wanted to bring out Chop, which had come out years before. And I was like, well, it's funny you say that because I've been working with Chop for years and I've got more ideas and more concepts with it. And it's a very different beast to the original Chop. And they were like, yeah, we'd love to speak to you about that. And in actual fact, before Gossip came out with Alakazam, and this is the reason that the stuff from Penguin came out after a lot of the other stuff that came out. Originally, they had me film it in lockdown. So back when D. Christopher was still working with Penguin Magic, they sent me around to D's studio in lockdown. And I remember it was like there was like nobody on the roads. I was over there for like 2 or 3 days, and we had masks were still everywhere. Hardly anyone was leaving the house. They had special permission for me to go there. I had to sign forms and so on and so forth. There was a lot of safety precautions taking place. But I remember in lockdown going over to D's place and filming. I filmed 3 tricks there. I filmed Keymaster, I filmed Lucky Lotto, and I filmed Chop. And we didn't do any performances, obviously, but I did explanations of all 3 of those tricks. And D cut them together and did the tutorials and did the trailers. And I actually have the original trailers for all 3 of those somewhere. And what happened is I remember having a conversation with Sean Dunn at Penguin Magic and turning around to him and I said, look, one of the things I'm really good at is live performances. And I just feel that this product doesn't come across as good as it could because you're not seeing live performances. And I think it'd be better if I went over there and we filmed it over there properly and people could actually see me perform this stuff in a real world environment. And we kind of agreed. And then I went over to Penguin and I filmed a bunch of stuff, not just those 3, but a bunch of other stuff. And I've been going over probably twice a year since then, working with them on the Magic Live stand and just been really kind of integrated into Penguin Magic. And that's why a lot of the stuff with Penguin came out after some of the stuff with Murphy's, like the Quantum deck and a lot of the stuff with Alakazam. I had like 3 Alakazam tricks come out before anything from Penguin Magic, and that's why. That's the reason. But it was Sean Dunn that made me go, you know what? Yeah, I should do this. You know, Ryland's into magic, really into magic. You know, he's going to want to start going to magic conventions when the world opens up. So I really should kind of not make myself a disgrace in the community, and I should come back and it was shortly after making that decision that I then started working with Alakazam. And then off the back of that, I set up Magic TV. Me and Ryland did a review show together just because we were bored. And I was like, let's do a review show. And we started doing that. And then we did more videos and more videos and more videos. And Magic TV was born. And off the back of Magic TV that being born, I started doing interviews with magicians. And I interviewed Lloyd Barnes. I decided I want to interview Lloyd Barnes. And I interviewed Lloyd. And we got on like a house on fire. And then he said, you should work with Murphy's. And I pitched, I said, well, if you want me to. I have notebooks, so many notebooks, because all the time I was away from magic, I was still creating magic. And so, like for years, I was still creating. It's just I wasn't publishing it or anything. So I had, and that's the point. A lot of the stuff that I'm bringing out now is stuff that I created years ago. You know, I just love creating magic, and a lot of the time, for years, for like almost a decade, I was creating it just for myself. So a lot of the stuff now, I'm going through notebooks and stuff, and I went through notebooks with Lloyd, and I was like, this, And I started working with Murphy's, and I think Quantum Deck came out before I did anything with Penguin. But by the by, it seems logical that Penguin Magic is the first company I look at. And if you guys like this video, I'll do a bunch more of them. I'll do one on every single company I've worked with and give you my opinion what they're like. So yeah, we're going to start off with Penguin Magic. So we're going to start with Penguin Magic because they're the people that brought me back into this community. And I know that there's going to be a small section of people watching this going, damn you, Penguin Magic. If it wasn't for you, you wouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. But let's talk about Penguin. Let's talk about Penguin Magic. And let's, more importantly, talk about the pros and the cons of working with Penguin Magic. And I'm going to assume that anybody watching this video has got a good trick, right? This is not a how to pitch a company video. This is you've pitched the company, they've said yes. Because I know that a lot of new creators I speak to and a lot of people in this industry that want to be creators, one of the things they're frustrated about is communication with the company up until the point that a contract has been signed. So it's kind of like, I've submitted this trick, I've not heard back from this company. I've submitted this trick, I've not heard back from this company. I've emailed this company, I've messaged this company, they're not getting back to me. That's not what this is about. This is not about the pitch. This is not about getting on the radar of these various different companies. This is, you've signed a contract with Penguin Magic. They've said yes. What are the pros and what are the cons? So I'm assuming that you've got a great trick and it's good enough for Penguin to say yes. What's it like working with Penguin Magic? And I have no format for this. I'm just going to talk and hopefully some of this will be interesting. So first of all, one of the best things about working with Penguin Magic is the infrastructure behind the scenes. So what I mean by that is when you're a creator with Penguin Magic, you get access to a portal, right? So you get access to kind of your own private login. You know, like when you log into Penguin Magic and you can see your accounts and you can see your orders and stuff. Well, you can also see, when you're an artist, you can see all of the tricks that you've produced with Penguin Magic. And it updates daily, which is really cool. And it updates in real time a bunch of data. So it updates how many units you've sold of each individual product. It tells you how much commission you've made off each individual product, how much commission they owe you, how much commission you've been paid overall for each individual product and totaled and everything. There's a lot of data that you can actually look into there, which is kind of really important if you are the sort of artist that cares about wanting to promote your own work. If you just want to go and work with Penguin Magic and you just want them to do everything for you, then this is probably going to be of no interest to you whatsoever, not one jot. But if you don't want them to do all the work and you want to do some of the work yourself and you want to be like, right, okay, I need to start promoting this. You can go, well, okay, this product here has sold 7,000 units. That's great. This product has only sold 1,000 units. Right, okay, so there's 6,000 people here that like my stuff that haven't bought this. So maybe I should start promoting this, and maybe I should do some videos on it, or I should talk about it on my Instagram, or talk about it on my Facebook, or whatever it is. You know, whatever infrastructure that you have in place to promote your own stuff. Because you know, I've talked about this before on the channel. I'm a big believer that you should not leave the promotion of a product to the company, and you should be the main person that's pushing that product. Penguin bringing out like a new trick every week, minimum, sometimes twice a week. They can't promote everything. So what they have to do is they have to pick and choose, right? They have to go, well, okay, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do this one. So they can't promote everything, so it's up to you to promote it. You want to be the ideal person to work with so that they're constantly wanting to work with you. You know, it's that old expression, isn't it? Be so good that they can't ignore you, you know, and be the perfect person to work with. One thing that I strive for when I'm actually working with a company is I want to be the perfect person. I want to be the best person to work with, so that when they think about it, they go, you know what, we can work with anybody, but this is the guy. This is the guy. So I'm a big believer in promoting my own stuff, telling everybody about my own stuff, hyping it up. I know there's going to be people watching this go, well, hype, there shouldn't be any hype in magic. Hype is a dirty word. And for those people, I say you're wrong. You're wrong, because here's the thing. My background is marketing. I've got qualifications in marketing. Went to university and studied marketing. Because of that, I understand marketing inside out, back to front, left way, sideways. And any company that's going to exist, that's going to succeed, that's going to do well, it's all about creating interest in the products. It's all about marketing, right? Any professional magicians that are watching this, do you create a show reel? Do you tell clients about where you're going to be performing? Do you advertise upcoming events? Do you create hype when you're going to be at an event on behalf of another company? Of course you do. And why wouldn't you? You're marketing those events on behalf of your clients. Well, if it's okay for you to do that as a professional magician, why is it not okay for you to do that as an artist working for a company? I think it's vitally important. Marketing and hype is vitally important. I know there's a vocal minority of people that go, well, you shouldn't have hype. The product should stand on their own merit. That's what should happen. The product should stand on their own merit. Whatever you think, man, whatever you think, it's totally up to you. I personally think that hype is a good thing. Also, from a consumer, I love getting excited about new tricks. It's one of the reasons I love being a magician. Oh my God, this is amazing. Most recently, I've been super excited about Liquify and Tobias Dostal and stuff like that. You just get super excited about stuff, right? I'm going off as a tangent now, which I do all of the time. But the point I'm trying to make is it's really important to be the perfect person to work with. And I think that means marketing your tricks for the company you're working with, as opposed to just saying, right, there you go, it's all yours, you sort it, that's it, job done, goodbye. So if you're the sort of person that has the same sort of attitude as me, this infrastructure behind the scenes is amazing, because it allows you to see how profitable each individual trick is. You can see how much money you've made from each individual trick. You can see how many products and units each trick has sold, which helps you decide what people like and don't like. You can go, well, you know what? I thought this was going to be okay, I'll be openly honest with you. Lucky Lotto has not done great. It did okay. It's done better than what the industry average is, but by my standards, it didn't do very well. So it kind of made me think, well, what did I do wrong? Because here's the thing, my attitude is you always have to look at it and go, well, what did I do wrong? Sometimes we celebrate our successes too much, right? It's like, oh, I'm amazing, look at this. What was wrong here? So was it the product? Was it the way I promoted the product? Was it the way that I actually put the product across? Was it the performance? Was it the prop? What was it? Why was it not as well received as this, for example? Because that is a very similar trick. And having that data in front of you is great, because you know that Penguin are promoting each and every one of these tricks in the exact same way. That one did not hit as well as other products. So it allows me to make informed decisions. The best trick that I've released through Penguin this year, from a sales point of view, is Magic Button. Magic Button is on track to be probably one of my best selling tricks, even outselling Chop and Keymaster. And so I kind of go, okay, well, what did I do right with Magic Button that I did wrong with this? What can I do better with that moving forward? All this information is really important. And the infrastructure there is great. They also have you guys don't know this person, but there's a person at Penguin Magic called Liza, and Liza is amazing. Liza is probably the most organized person I've ever met. Every company needs a Liza. In my company, it's Sarah, my wife. Sarah's super organized. Me, totally disorganized. Sean Dunn, totally disorganized. Liza, oh my God. She's amazing, and she's super organized. So if you have a question and you email her, she's all over it like melted butter. There's many times, you can check your payments and stuff like that, and there's many times that I don't even realize that payment's coming in and she's already sorted it. Case in point with how organized Liza is, and we'll talk about travel in a minute, but case in point, when I was going to Magic Live, Penguin paying for me to go over to Magic Live, paying for my travel, then paying for the internal travel over to Columbus and then back to the UK. And literally the night before, I was meant to be leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning from Birmingham Airport. Literally the night before, I had a text come through going, your flight has been cancelled. And I'm like, crap on a cracker. Oh my God. So I text Sean Dunn and he said the magic words. I'll check with Liza. It's those 4 words that make everything happen. I'll check with Liza. Within literally 15 minutes, even though this happened the night before, she'd completely rescheduled all of my travel and given me updated travel and everything through to Vegas. And it's like, that is amazing. So you talk about pros and cons with Penguin Magic. Liza is a massive positive. She should win. I don't know if she has won Employee of the Year, but she should do. So yeah, they've got this great infrastructure in place, so that if you've got questions, it's super organized. And I know some people have said to me, it's hard to get on Penguin's radar. They contact somebody like Sean Dunn and he won't get back to them. But Sean's dealing with 1 million people, and sometimes it's just maybe the product doesn't fit Penguin Magic, and they're because when they get a submission, they're checking it out amongst their whole team. And I've submitted stuff to Penguin in the past, and they've said no to it. So here's some. Just because I'm Penguin Magic Creator of the Year and I'm there all the time and I'm working a lot of their products and I'm over at the Magic Live booth and everything, they don't say yes to everything, dude. God, no, not at all. Not at all. Not one jot, do they? Like, I've got a trick coming out with TCC. It's my first trick with TCC. And it went over to Penguin Magic, first of all, and Penguin Magic said no for a couple of different reasons. And those reasons were important to Penguin Magic, but weren't important to TCC. And so that's coming out with TCC, for example. I've got another trick coming out with Alakazam, and Penguin said no to it. And I understand why they said no to it. It was because it was very similar to another product that they had coming out that has now come out. And they didn't want to have two that crossed over, which totally makes sense. But my first thought was to have that go out through Penguin Magic. And then, it's nice to have options is the point I'm trying to make. But they don't say yes to me for everything. And the point is, when you're dealing with trying to get your foot in the door, communication sometimes might take a while, right? The cogs take a while to turn. But when you're in the actual infrastructure, when you're there, when you're contracted, everything is super organized. Everything is super organized. And Liza's a big part to play with that. And the infrastructure behind the scenes, so you can see everything that's going on, is great as well. So typically they will have you come over to Columbus. I know there's exceptions. I know sometimes they don't. I'm pretty sure that Ian Bailey didn't come over to, I know Ian Bailey did Wonder Blocks with Penguin, which was great. I'm pretty sure that he didn't go over to, looking at the trailer, I'm pretty sure he didn't come over to Penguin. But generally as a rule, you go over to Penguin, and when you go to Penguin's all over the place. Their warehouse is in California, but the bit that I go to is in Columbus, Ohio, and that's where the P3 Magic Studio is. That's where the P3 Theater is. That's where the P3 Magic Shop is. That's where the gimmick making workshop is, which is humongous. And you go over there, and they look after you. Oh my days, they look after you. So first of all, they'll organise all of the flights over to there from where you're going. So they'll be going back and forth with dates, figuring out the best time to go. They'll be going over there and they'll be sending you dates. They'll then have a car waiting for you at the airport that will take you to the hotel. Typically, you'll have somebody like Sean pick you up and take you for breakfast. They'll feed you. They'll look after you while you're there. They'll be picking you up from the hotel and bringing you to the studio. They're going to feed you and water you. They're going to look after you. They go above and beyond to make sure that you are well looked after, and then some. So they go above and beyond. And while you're there, the people that are in Columbus are incredible. You don't always see all of them, because there's so many people working at Penguin. I couldn't name them all, but the key people that work sort of in the videography, Gally and Nick and Eric and Dalton and Mandy and Sean and those guys, they're kind of the main people when you're filming stuff. You won't see all of them at one time. Like when I was there last time, it was just Dalton and Eric and Mandy really, on various different days. So it's very much dependent. It's different days, but the amount of experience and knowledge that they have between them. I mean, the thing about all of those names that I said, Sean and Mandy are two very, very knowledgeable magicians. Some of the most knowledgeable magicians you'll ever meet. Eric and Nick, I mean, what do you say? Gally, I don't know if you know Gally, but Gally is phenomenal. And Dalton is incredible. Like some of the stuff that Dalton's done is just next level. They are all really knowledgeable about magic, and they are more than happy to share their ideas and their viewpoints. They know what makes a product work for a Penguin audience. And one of the things that I do when I get there is I'll sit down and I'll be like, right, okay, they'll already have greenlit everything, but it's like, right, okay, so what are we going to do when we do the live performances? You know, if this product has got 6 routines, let's pick 2 or 3 of the best and so show us all the routines and we'll figure out which one is the best one to get from a demo point of view, because we obviously want to get the best reactions that we can get, and the way to get that is to make sure that you know, we've got the best tricks that we're doing out and about, and so on and so forth. So yeah, the experience that they've got, they want you to succeed. They want your product to be a best-selling product, because if your product is a best-selling product, then they are going to have a best-selling product. If they have a best-selling product, then everybody is happy. So they're going to do everything they can to make you look as good as you can look, and that everything is very organized when you're over there, and it's like, right, okay, here's what's going to happen today. Now, typically when I go over, when you know, a lot of people that go over, they might be filming 1, 2, maybe 3 products. I tend to do more because I've got a lot more that I'm doing with them. Sometimes it's not even my product. Well, a lot of the time, it's not even my products. Like the last time I went over there a couple of weeks ago, I was filming stuff for Josh Birch. I was filming stuff to Nicholas Lawrence. I was filming additional stuff for people like Alex Latorre. So there was a lot of material that I was filming over there, not even my material, which is fine, which is cool. And I really enjoy doing that, to be perfectly honest. But because of that, when I'm over there, I'm filming a lot of products. So it's kind of a bit full on for me, a lot, because I'll be getting there. Like the last time I was there, it was like tutorials all day from 9 until about 5 or 4. And then we're going to go out and we're going to get live performances. And, you know, we're going to get that till 11 o'clock or midnight and stuff. And then we're going to do it the next day, and we can do it the next day. And that's fine, because they know that I like to work hard. What I don't like to do is get there and just be sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I did not travel to the other side of the world to sit there and play, you know, on my phone. I sat there or scroll on Facebook. I sat there to go out there. I came all the way over to the other side of the world to get a job done. And yeah, it's nice hanging out with friends, and I do consider all of the Penguin guys friends, but I'm there to get a job done. But, you know, so I have kind of more of a schedule, which is fine. But if you go over there, you might not. The theatre is beautiful. It is the best environment to film in. It's as much as I love the Alakazam studio, and as much as I love doing a shoot with Murphy's, and I have Lloyd come with his camera equipment and stuff, because they don't really have a studio, they're a different thing every time. I love everybody that I work with. The best environment to perform in is Columbus, Ohio. The theatre is amazing. The places they take you out to do pitches is amazing. You don't. They want to be creative. They want to be creative. So, you know, the last time I was there, we were doing a trick all about heroes and villains. So we went to a comic book store, and we were getting B-roll of me just picking up stuff in a comic book store, and that was really cool. And then we were doing the pictures in like this alleyway with graffiti behind us, and that was really fun. Like, that's the point, you know. They go above and beyond, and they factor all this in, and it's all really organized and all really good, which is amazing. The other cool thing about Penguin Magic is you have the gimmick making place there. So if you've gone with them with an idea and kind of a roughly made prototype, and they're going to prototype that prototype, you know, they've got a huge team. You've got a huge team led by Seth Race, who is amazing. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Seth is one of the most organized people that I've ever met. Not organised, sorry. He's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. He can literally, you can say, Seth, so I'll give you an idea. I had a complicated idea for a trick that I mentioned in passing when I was with Mandy at Magic Live. I was like, hey, this. We had a 5-minute chat. When I went to, and then we went to Columbus, and I went into Mandy's office and Sean's office at Columbus, and we sat down, and Mandy said, here you go. I was like, what's that? And she went, message Seth while we're in Vegas, and he's made this. And he made a fully functioning prototype of this thing that I wouldn't even know how to make a prototype of. And she's just like, yeah, there you go. What do you think? Will that work? I'm like, Mandy, that's amazing. That's brilliant. That's exactly what I was looking for. Seth has the ability to, now, if you ever go into Penguin and you get a chance to see where they make all the gimmicks and everything, dear Lord in heaven, don't go in his office because it's just a disaster. If you've got OCD, you will vomit all over his floor. How he finds anything in there, I don't know. He does. You ask him for something and he'll know exactly what pile of crap it's in, but it is the single most disorganized place I've ever met. And this is coming from somebody who is very disorganized. And yet I look positively OCD compared to Seth Race. But he's brilliant. He's a brilliant man and a huge asset to Penguin Magic. And the stuff that he comes up with is great. So having Seth and his team there are wonderful. Because, a lot of the time when you work with a company, I've worked with 1914, for example, and they're amazing. But they're a smaller company, they're a startup, right? So if they need to get a prototype made, they're going to have to go out and source somebody to make the prototype. They've got everything at Penguin, everything. If they need to make you a prototype, boom, there you go, there's the prototype. They can send it to you the next day. Things can happen a lot quicker than it would do anywhere else because of the level of expertise that Penguin have. So that's a massive thing as well, because if you've got this idea for this crazy gimmick and you kind of have made one out of cardboard, but you don't really know how you go, they could make that happen. And if they can't do it, there's very unlikely that anybody else will be able to do it, right? So there's that. And I'm trying desperately as I'm talking to you guys, I'm trying to think of a negative of working with Penguin Magic, and I can't really think of a negative realistically, because they are a great company to work. No, I actually can. So right, here we go. Everything is great. You are treated like a rock star. They literally will lay the red carpet out for you. You will have a fantastic time in Columbus. And their infrastructure, their communication leading up to that is great. The communication afterwards is great. They'll keep you up to date with everything. They'll keep you up to date with how things are going. Everything is good. Everything is really, really good, right? The one negative with Penguin, and they're really a victim of their own success, but they can't. I understand why, but they don't really tell you when an item comes out. Like I've done my 2024 release schedule. I kind of have to guess with Penguin because I have no idea when something's going to come out, because they've got so many tricks that they're working on. Sometimes it can be longer than others. Like I just never know. I never know. It's very difficult to keep up. So I filmed something with Penguin the first time I went over there 3 years ago, and it's still on their agenda. They really want to do it, but it's not come out yet. Right? And then I filmed something that, you never know. And then what will happen, and this is hilarious, in the past this has happened, I found out that a trick has come out of mine from Penguin Magic when I've been emailed by Ajar. Ajar's the owner of Penguin Magic, and he sends all the emails out. And I've not been told. I didn't know it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden I've seen an email going, by this new trick by Craig Petty is amazing. I'm like, oh, well, looks like that's out. Good to know. Great. Now, that's negative to me because I mentioned it before, I like hype, right? So I like to talk to people ahead of my trick coming out. I don't want to just have it come out and then talk about it retroactively. I don't want to be the first person to find out about it by seeing somebody post about it on the latest and greatest on the Magic Cafe. I want to be the person that's saying, hey, guys, in 3 weeks' time, I've got this dropping and this is absolutely amazing. I don't get that. And I don't think I ever will, because Penguin never know what they're going to do. They have a rough idea, but it can literally change in a second because they're working with so many artists. And that's the other thing. You can go to a company and you can be the big fish in the small pond. So, like, a lot of the time when I go to Alakazam, I not all the time, because they've got some big names they work with. I mean, come on, they work with Mark Spellman. But I'm one of the bigger names at Alakazam, even though they're a big company. I'm one of the bigger names there. At Penguin, that's not the case. And I said this before, and I had people commenting going, how can that not be the case? You're Penguin Magic Creator of the Year 2 years in a row. And I'm like, yeah, but you've got some incredible, like, they've just had a load of stuff come out through Paul Wilson. Paul Wilson has got a massively bigger following than me. So has Greg Wilson. They've just had stuff come out through Greg Wilson. Hell, Eric Tate came third of FISM in card magic, and he works for them. He's got a massive following. So there's people that have got a bigger following. So because of that, I might get pushed back. I might get bumped, right? And it's very difficult to come in and be the man at Penguin Magic. And even though I'm kind of up there, Penguin Magic Creator of the Year, I've been on their Las Vegas Magic Life booth 3 years in a row. I'm still not the biggest name at Penguin Magic, and I'm fine with that. I don't really care. But that's one of the reasons why you never know what's coming up, because things could get bumped around. One of the big things. Now, if you are money motivated, and I'm not really money motivated, but if you're money motivated, Penguin are probably the company to go for, because they pay the most out of everybody that I work with, about by far, based on the units that I've sold. They pay the most, and they also give you a bunch of stock. So they give you a bunch of stock, they pay the most, and if you want more stock for lectures and stuff, you can get it at a super wholesale price, which is great. So they if you're money motivated and you think you can shift a lot of units, out of everybody I've worked with, you can be the most profitable with Penguin Magic. Not that Alakazam and 1914 and Murphy's Magic and Vanishing Ink are terrible, but if I had to rate them, if I had to give a rating purely based on nothing else but profitability, Penguin would be at the top of that. They just would. So from a profitability point of view, it's Penguin Magic that you really want to meet. You really are the best from everybody I've worked with. I don't know about Illusionist. I don't know about Saturn. There might be some smaller companies that I've not worked with. But out of all the companies I've worked with, Penguin Magic. And they're also the most upfront in terms of you're literally seeing sales statistics on a day-by-day basis as they are updated in live time, in real time on their site. You're seeing that at your end as well. You can literally log in and see minute by minute exactly what's going on. Incredible company to deal with. Most of all, it is a family, it feels like a family business, even though it's not a family business. It has that family vibe. Everybody works with each other. Everybody gets on with each other. They all come together, pushing forward to one common goal. And that is what I love about Penguin Magic. I absolutely adore hanging out with them. I love hanging out. I feel like part of a family when I'm over there. It's like my Columbus family. I love going to Columbus has become my favorite place in the UK, in the US. Out of everywhere. It used to be San Francisco. It's my favorite place in the US. I would go to, in fact, I've even said to Sarah, let's go to Columbus on holiday with the kids next year, because I love Columbus. I've grown to love Columbus. And it's partly because I have such an amazing experience with the guys at Penguin whenever I'm over there. So to answer the question, what is it like working with Penguin Magic? I will tell you now, bloody amazing. They are a fantastic company. They care about the artist. They also care about their customers. They want to make sure that they're getting the best possible products in for their customers, but they also want to make sure their artists are well looked after. They are just an amazing company to deal with. They are super organized. Everybody is amazing. Sean is a great guy to deal with. Sean will just, he cares, right? He cares. He cares so much. Mandy cares so much. And with the experience of people like Nick and Eric there, and with the organizational skills of Liza and all of the facilities they've got in, I'm not even talking about the theatre and how amazing it is performing in the theatre. And, you know, if you're going to do a Penguin Live, having that experience is absolutely amazing. And being able to go there and having it stacked up, I'm going to do a Penguin Live and I'm going to do this product and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Just everything all put together. Amazing experience. So rating it out of 100, I would say it's 99 out of 100. It loses 1% because I wish they'd be more organized when it comes to release dates of products, just so I can hype them up a little bit more. But outside of that, it gets 99%, and I love working with Penguin Magic. So that's my review of Penguin Magic. If you are a creator, I look at Penguin as like one of the gold standards. It's like, oh my God, I've made it. I've worked with Penguin Magic. And there is that ethos around it, because Penguin are, let's be honest, the biggest magic shop in the world and the second biggest wholesaler, magic wholesaler in the world. You know, you say that you have products out with Penguin Magic, people sit up and pay attention because it's like, wow, okay, it's Penguin Magic, they're amazing. You know, you've got products out with Penguin Magic, that's really cool. I think it's a bit of a status thing saying that you work with Penguin Magic. They are brilliant and so knowledgeable. So yeah, if anybody here is a creator and wants to work with Penguin Magic, they are a great company to work with. with the one negative being that they need to be a bit more organised when it comes to let you know with release dates. And you're going to find it very hard to be the top dog over there because they work with so many big artists. But there you go. Do me a favour, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would you like to see more of these videos where I look at the pros and cons of working with each individual company? If you would, please let me know. Okay, and which company would you like me to look at next? Because I will. I'm more than happy to. As I say, I can't look at Saturn, can't look at Illusionist, but everyone else I'd be more than happy to do a review on. Anyway, I'll be back again very, very soon. 5x5 will return next week. Tomorrow we are back with the Mac test. But thank you very much for watching. Join the Netrix. Go and shop at Penguin Magic, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.